Hello again there, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. My name's Jason Stapleton, and this is the Forex Market Preview. If this is the first time that you're joining me, thank you so much for doing so. I really appreciate it. And if you like this video, whether it's the first time you're joining or not, and you really would like to see more of them, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, because that's the best way for me to stay in touch with you. And it shows that you support us, and the other close to 20,000 people who are subscribed would appreciate the company. So thank you so very much. I have entitled this week's lesson, or this week's Forex market preview, what to do when everything goes wrong. And it's based on a conversation that I had. It wasn't and really an email that I got from a syndicate client this week, and I want to kind of set the groundwork for you, tell you a little story about what happened. We've had about a couple of pretty decent weeks of trading in the syndicate, and things were going really well. And we were coming into Friday, and I woke up at 6 o'clock like I normally do, and I checked the current positions that I had on in the overnight, and I realized that I'm just looking at a sea of red. It's just like everything has gone against me, and I'm down in every major pair, every single pair that I was trading. And I had about 6 open positions at the time, or 6 or 7. And I got up and went to work, and I actually put the background when I did my syndicate video. I turned it red, and I was going to have a discussion about, hey, I'm just looking at a sea of red, and I was going to explain, kind of what was happening, and kind of calm everybody down who was working on this, and just kind of say, look, you're not the only person dealing with this. Anybody who's trading right now is kind of dealing with the same thing, and I'm dealing with it, and here's how I'm dealing with it. And because I don't, there's no sense in hiding it. Part of the syndicate is to help people overcome those emotional and psychological hurdles that come with losing, because losses happen, and so it's nice to have a community of support when that happens. And I got up to fill my coffee cup. I normally do the morning thoughts video at about 7:30. And so I went to refill my coffee cup at about 7:20 or so, and reloaded that and came back. And that was right after like 7:31 or something. And it was right after the non-farm payroll number, or not the non-farm payroll, but the unemployment numbers had come out that Friday. And literally within about 15 seconds, 4 or 5 of the 6 pairs that I was trading, well, 4 of them, I know, 4 of them immediately were stopped out for a maximum loss. And we'd been trading pretty well earlier in the week, was up about 70 pips, and then we had a couple of losing trades. So we didn't have all of that, but then those 6 losing trades, or 4 losing trades in a row, pretty much wiped out not only everything that we've been trading that week, but a huge chunk of what we've been trading the last week. So basically about a week and a half of good, solid, disciplined trading got wiped out in about 15 seconds. And I went on, and I kind of said, man, God, that stings a little bit. And I wouldn't have given it a second thought, and it would have never made it into a conversation that we're having in the Forex market preview, except for the email that I got after I got done. So I started talking about, man, that stinks to walk in 15 seconds, man, all 4 of them get wiped out. Boy, that's a trip. But I'd been there before, and so I kind of voiced a little bit of frustration with it, and then I went on with the morning preview, and I said, okay, well, those 3 are gone, or those 4 are gone. Here's what we have to focus on now. We got 2 positions still left open. This is what's working, and here's what I'm watching as well. So basically, you can't do anything about the losses that occurred. Did you ask yourself when you get done at the end of the trade, did I follow my plan? If the answer is yes, then you pat yourself on the back and you move forward, because there's nothing that you can do if you followed your plan and the trade was a loss. That's not a bad trade. It's just a trade that wasn't a winner. It just didn't help the fact that we took 4 of them in like instantaneously. So I didn't think much about it. I went on about my day. I had a bunch of other stuff on my plate, which I had talked to the syndicate guys about, and I went back and I read my email, about an hour or 2 later, and I was checking, and I had an email from a syndicate client. And he said and it was titled Morning Thoughts. Normally I don't respond to those, but what this particular individual said, necessitated a response. He said, this was the best Morning Thoughts video I have ever seen. It basically I can't remember the exact words he said, but essentially he was saying, this was the best video that you've ever done. He said, because finally I saw some emotion out of you. And he made a Rocky reference to, about the impression that I give is that I operate largely like a machine. where it's just like, boom, doesn't matter win, loss, I don't really care. I have this even-keeled temperament all along the way. And a lot of times people sitting at home think that I have no emotion, that it doesn't bother me when I have losing trades, or I don't get excited when we get on winning streaks, and those types of things. And I emailed him back and I said, thank you very much for sending me that note, because it opens my eyes to the way that I am perceived. And I said, it's very, very interesting. One of my responsibilities as a coach is to keep a very even keel. Regardless of what I am feeling, the emotion that I am dealing with internally, my responsibility to the people who are with me is to be that anchor and to be that rock. And so I display regardless of what I am feeling, I display very little emotion, because how is the trader on the other end, who's really struggling, who really can't get this down, who's constantly making emotional decisions, how is that guy going to ever get a hold of his emotions if the guy who is supposed to be his coach, the guy who's supposed to be the anchor that's his foundation, is constantly flying off the handle, is on this emotional roller coaster too? And so many times, if I find myself in a situation where I'm overly frustrated about something, or I'm finding that I really don't want to talk about a topic because it hasn't gone the way I wanted it to, many times I will give some distance, some space between that, just having that discussion and my emotion, until I have time to kind of collect my thoughts and kind of get over it and shed that emotion. But it doesn't mean that I don't have those emotions. It doesn't mean that it doesn't frustrate me. And what happened there with the Morning Thoughts video, because it's live, because there's no way, because it absolutely just happened as we went live, I didn't have a chance to run that all through my filter. And what I said to him was, it's not the emotion. You cannot get rid of the emotion. How you personally react emotionally, the feeling that you get when something like that happens, when somebody says something that's mean to you or offensive, or when you see your child stand up and walk for the first time, or when you take 4 losing trades all in a row and within 30 seconds of each other, and it wipes out a week's worth of good trading. Okay? Regardless of that, you can't change the way that feels. Over time, you can temper it, and you can reduce how much of an effect it has on you internally, but you can't ever get rid of emotion. We're human beings. But I said, what you can do is you can change the way that you react to that emotion. And I said, you've got to pay very close attention, even when I showed that emotion, and even when I showed my frustration and my anger at the fact that so much of our profit had been wiped out. I said, let's move on. What's next? Let's look for the next trade. Let's follow the rules. Did we follow our rules? Yes, we did. Okay, let's move on. We don't allow the emotion to dictate what we're going to trade or how we're going to trade. We let the system, we let the testing, we let all of the work that we've done leading up to the trade tell us what we need to do, and allow that to drive our decision making, not the emotion. And there's a process that one goes through with this, and it's not something that happens overnight. It's something that you're going to work on. Some of you will work on it for months and months. Some of you will work on it for years. It will never totally be gone. You will never be rid of emotion in your trading, but what you can rid yourself of is how you react to that emotion, the decisions that you make. And so I just wanted to bring that to your attention, because it really had an impact on me when he said, I realized that you weren't like some freak of nature, that you were a human being, that you were just like me, that these things do bother you. And I thought, man, what a powerful lesson that I can give to you guys on the Forex Market Preview this week on dealing with emotion. What do you do when everything goes wrong? Well, the first thing you do is you take a step back. You say, did I follow my plan? Did my plan produce me a profit? Does my plan produce me a profit? And if so, you carry on. You say, this is terrible. It happened, but I'm going to carry on. And one of the things that we're going to look at on the 5th, I think it's the 15th of this month, is we're going to be looking at the 2618 trade. And this is a absolutely 100% free training that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be teaching you a trading strategy. and I'm going to be showing you all of the rules on how to trade the 2618. I know a lot of you guys have heard about it. You've been following me for a while. Many of you in the syndicate have heard about it. A lot of you have never learned it. And so I'm going to teach it to you. And I'm going to teach you the rules for entry and how we make those decisions and where we find the opportunity and what it looks like and where the stop go and where the targets go. I'm going to show you the equity curve that Akil put together on our portfolio that we traded on over the last year. And I'm going to show you what the results were of the last year of trading. And then I'm going to show you how money management, how good position sizing can radically transform a system. And we're going to do all this in a free training. And I promised you guys I would have sign up for that for you this week, and I do. It's popping up on the screen right now, and also underneath of this video in the About section of the YouTube page will also be a link there if for some reason you can't click on it in the video. I would highly recommend that you guys attend that training. I don't care whether you use a strategy or don't use a strategy. What the knowledge and information that you're going to gain about how strategy is, how the thought process works, how the trade plan is kind of developed, how the if-then context, the if-then syntax is written in order for us to make determinations about what to trade and when to trade, what role position sizing and money management plays in a trading strategy is all going to be incorporated in this free training. And guys, there are no sales pitches here. There's no offer to buy anything. It is nothing more than just free training for you guys to give you guys a strategy that will produce a profit if you trade it consistently. So I would highly advise, take time right now. We're going to talk about a couple of currency pairs, but don't waste any time. Take some time right now and sign up for it. It will be one of the best, if not the best time that you have ever spent learning how to trade. That I can guarantee you. If it's not, I'll give you your money back. But I'm very, very excited to be able to offer this to you. It's going to be coming from our new studios at Trade Empowered. We're going to be broadcasting it through Omnovia, and you're going to really get a very unique experience that most people have never had the opportunity to experience, and certainly not for free. And so I would invite you guys to sign up for that and get ready for that, because it's coming. But today, for some reason, my eSignal is not letting me sign in, and I think it has something to do with eSignal servers because I've double-checked everything. And so I'm actually going to be using a different software today. This is a web-based software, and it is from TradingView.com. And Multicharts, this is a division of Multicharts, which is a charting service. And if you are on the go, or this is a free service too, I'm not paying anything for this. But if you're on the go, if you're away from your computer and you want to check stock prices, you want to check currency prices, you want to take a look and maybe run some technical analysis because you're thinking about a trade, but for some reason on your work computer you don't have the ability to put your software on there that you normally have, TradingView.com is fantastic. And by the way, I don't get any money for that. They know who I am, but they don't know that I'm doing this. But I bring it to your attention because it's a fantastic charting software. And virtually anything that you can do with NinjaTrader or eSignal, you can do on this, web-based charting platform. HTML5 is allowing us to do some incredible things with charting, and this is a great platform for you guys to use. Now, stay out of the forum area. Don't listen to what anybody else has to say about it. You don't know them. You don't know what the quality of their advice is, but make sure that you are paying very, very close attention to. So stay out of there, but you can use the charting and stuff to make decisions off of. But we're going to start on the Euro USD. Now, I'm not going to go through all the analysis that we've covered before. Those of you who follow this on a regular basis will know where we are. But I have said that really this is the area, I'm going to grab my horizontal line here, that I have been watching, this zone. Okay? Grab it again. Boom. There we go. Let me adjust this line a little bit. I'll make it a little bit darker, and we'll thicken it up a bit. Let me see here if I can do that. There we go. Okay. So let's clone this line. We'll drag it down here. Come here. Sorry, guys, why can't I drag you? I don't know why I can't. It doesn't matter. Anyway, this is what I'm looking at. This zone inside of here is what I've been watching. Now, why is that? Well, look at the resistance. We've got resistance here, support here. And now the market is coming back down in. We violated structure here. We rallied. We violated structure again. We have a very, very nice harmonic move. Boom. This line is very close and equal to this line. Okay. Nice little harmonic move back down into the potential reversal zone, down into the kill zone. And we're right against that structure support and resistance level. So there's a buying opportunity here. Now, if we drop down to the lower time frame, depending on how this thing sets up on Monday, syndicate members will be talking about potential long entries here if they present themselves. I'm not going to drop down to those lower time frames today because this is really more about the training and kind of the concept of what I teach and how I teach it more than direct trading opportunities, although we do some of that. But we have this very, very nice ABCD move down into the potential reversal zone here. And this is going to be something that we're going to want to pay attention to because there is definitely a buying opportunity here as the market moves into this zone. And we're already showing a lot of support, a little bit of support in there towards the end of the week this week. Let's also take a look at pound dollar today. Okay. Don't know what that is. Screwed that up. Okay. Pound dollar. Here's what we've got going on here. All right. We have had, first of all, let's take a look at the double top, followed by the break of structure, the press back up into the 618, 2618 trades, selling the 2618. This is a perfect example of a 2618. Looking for the market, if you're a 2618 trader, for the market to come back down into these lows somewhere around 64.81s if you're trading the 2618 trade. You also have potential advanced pattern here. If I bring in my initial retracement, Fibonacci retracement level, you're going to see this market comes down into the 618. If we take the next Fibonacci retracement level, here to here, you're going to see that this one comes up and touches the 618, which means we're looking for a Fibonacci extension. Swing high to swing low, and back down in. We're looking for a move down into the 127 extension at around 63.61 for potential long entries on the daily chart. Now that looks, if we're showing you the actual, let me see if I can find the right little tool here that gives us the diagonal. Yeah, there's a triangle tool. So let me see if I can show this to you guys. Okay, so the pattern itself is going to look something a little bit like this. Okay, go something like that down to there. And then if we grab it again, go from here to here and down in, excuse me, down into roughly a 127 extension. Okay, and that's probably a little bit low, but it's pretty close. Down into that 127 extension, there will be a buying opportunity here. Now, those of you who might be looking at this another way, you might be saying, well, here's a leg of the move. This is a 618 retracement of this leg. So if I grab this Fibonacci retracement and I go here, you can see that we come into a 618 retracement. If I drag the next leg of the move from here to here, you're seeing, well, that's almost a 618, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. So there may be a potential opportunity for a rally up into another Gartley pattern up this direction. So there's a potential for another move. And then, of course, if you are part of the syndicate and you were down on the 1 hour chart, which we were this week, you noticed that there was, and actually a 4 hour chart is probably, well, I don't know if I can see it on the 4 hour, it doesn't matter, that there is actually a cipher pattern in here as well, and we are currently long. Now, the cipher pattern has been violated. The market did actually go lower than, this is where X is, X down here. We did actually violate X, so this is not a pattern that you should be involved with if you missed it already, but the market is trading sideways here, and we're a little bit behind in this position, but you can see the frustration, the anger that happened on Friday, the divisiveness in the market as we went up and down and back and forth and finally closed, back down against previous structure support. And we're going to have to see where this thing goes into Monday and Tuesday. I don't know. I don't know what will happen. All I know is that we still have the position on and we're still waiting to see what happens. But on the daily chart, this is what, when we start talking about a little later on, I know we talked about the 2618 training that we're going to be doing. But in addition to that, we also have the turning point trading, which is going to be coming next month. And that is going to be a week-long, 4 solid days of training. And what we're going to cover there is some concepts on OODA loop theory, on staying inside of the market's thought process, of being in a position where you're never caught off guard. That if the market goes higher, you know what you're going to do. If it goes lower, you know what you're going to do. You know exactly where you're going to place your trades. You know exactly where your stops are going to go. There is no chance that the market is going to move in a direction and you are going to be unprepared to take advantage of it. Literally, it is an incredibly liberating feeling to have that in your back pocket. And we're going to teach you a little bit about how that works. But what we're talking about here on the pound, where I'm drawing in, and some of you guys understand this and some of you don't. And it's okay if you don't. This is the takeaway that I want to give you. It doesn't matter whether the market goes higher or lower. I know the levels that I'm watching for. I know what I'm anticipating. And I'm planning accordingly. So there's no chance that if this market reverses and goes higher that I don't know what I'm going to do. And if the market goes ahead and comes back down lower, I also know what I'm going to do. I have a plan in place for how I'm going to attack this market regardless of what it decides to do. You see, as traders, what we'd really like to do is we'd like to influence the market. We'd like to tell the market what to do. But the truth is we can't control the market. We don't get to tell the market what to do. All we can do is participate in the market's movement. And the only way that we can participate is to have a plan in place now so that when the market moves, we're in a position to take advantage. If not, then we're lost. And part of what the Forex Market Preview is about is keying you into some of these fundamental principles, some of these fundamental ideas that maybe no one has ever taught you before, that you've never considered, that no one's ever explained. And I'm glad that I have the opportunity each week to come out here and work with you guys just a little bit and share with you some of these really fundamental concepts about trading that are overlooked and that people do not talk about, and certainly not for free. So I want to thank you guys very much for being here. Again, if you like this video, please hit the like button because it's huge for me, and subscribe. Those two things do more for me than anything else. And then don't forget, there's the link again. Sign up for the 2618 training. It's going to be incredible. You're going to love it. And it's totally 100% free. So until next time, guys, good luck, good trading. I'll talk to you soon.